Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, General Alvin. Congratulations to you and to Gina and your whole family on your nomination. We hope that the holds that are on general officers will be released soon so that you'll actually be able to assume the role that I believe you'll be confirmed for. There's been a lot of discussion about the potential for Congress to not pass a continuing resolution to keep the government open or the budget bills that we need to pass by October the 1st. Can you describe what you think the impact on the Air Force would be if we are in either a shutdown or a long-term continuing resolution?
Thank you, Senator. That's a particularly important question because every day when I go to work, when I work for Secretary Kendall, who is laser focused on getting to the future, our focus is on how fast we can get there, understanding the sense of urgency, and that, as our Secretary said, war isn't inevitable, but we need to prepare for it as though it is. And so as we do that, every day that we don't have a predictability in our budget or we can't advance those modernization activities and the RDT&E and the science and technology advancement of those, we're falling behind. So while on the surface we keep the government running, we keep the trains running on time, as they would say, but the sort of underneath the surface, we are falling behind, and what we don't want to do is look several years in the future and find the accumulation of those means that we've fallen behind and put ourselves at a disadvantage. So the on-time appropriations help us buy those long lead items, continue the momentum that we're building after we've identified the capabilities we need.
And can you also talk about what the impact is on our adversaries of a government shutdown, of our inability to get a budget that keeps the military operating?
Well, Senator Shaheen, that's a challenging question to answer because it really goes into what we think are in the minds of our potential adversaries. However, when one can see the actions, if I were in their seats, I would look at that as the ability for us to perhaps, if I was an adversary to the United States or potential adversary, for us to be able to continue to gain momentum and move faster. And that's what, as the United States, one thing we do not want to do is encourage potential adversaries to think that when they have differences in national security or national interests, that they can take it into conflict and win. That's what we need to prevent.
Thank you. I agree. I appreciated the opportunity we had to meet, and one of the issues we talked about was the KC-46, the tanker, which is no longer new, but still dealing with a number of issues to make it fully operational. And the first tankers were delivered to the 157th Refueling Wing in 2019. We still have a remote vision system that is not fully operational, and we're talking about not having that fully operational until 2025, so fully 6 years after the first tankers were delivered. How do we avoid that happening again in the future? And how do we do everything possible to continue to move forward that schedule for getting the RVS system operational?
Well, thank you, Senator. First, I would echo the importance of rapid global mobility and what it means to our Air Force, and really what makes us the best Air Force on the planet, and enables our nation to be able to respond in a manner we wouldn't otherwise be able to, and I think it's critical. So the recapitalization of our air refueling fleet and enabling us to maintain rapid global mobility is absolutely essential, and I will continue to put focus on that. With respect to the KC-46, it is proving itself to be a very capable aircraft. I take your point that we wanted those systems to be working the first time out of the chute. We are putting the pressure and continuing to work with Boeing to ensure that those fixes, those software fixes, are making it the very, very best capability it can be. In the meantime, through our Major Commander General Minahan from Air Mobility Command, he has authorized the interim capability releases that enable us to still refuel basically all of the fleet of receivers that we have, with the exception of the A-10. And so it is functioning very well, but not as well as it could. So, Senator Shaheen, on this particular program, it's just, once again, maintaining vigilance and maintaining pressure, if you will, to ensure that those capabilities are delivered. I believe as we move forward into future modernized platforms, I think we're learning lessons about maybe owning more of the tech base, about owning government's reference architecture, and those sort of things that will allow us to continue to leverage the influence that we might have throughout operations and sustainment and make it more affordable. Thank you.
Well, rest assured, I will continue to raise the question until it's all fixed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Shaheen.